You wouldn't have got it. There was $1. And that's on sale compared to what they was. Because they was more than that.
They don't even think they had no seasoning. Oh, well, look, she got that breakfast.
But sometimes you got to downgrade, though. You gotta do what you got to do. Because the ones in that big box that she got, the Margaret Marie calendars, they ain't got no, them things is watery. And they big. And they cost more money. But them little ones, you might ain't get much up in there. But they got more seasoning.
Ain't no seasoning. Ain't no
It
seasoning.
is though.
Girl, I ate two of them motherfuckers one day for lunch. And well, that shit was not good.
But they is.
But it was good because if I had my own seasoning put in, it would have been good. They didn't have no seasoning.
They is good. No. It's just a matter of how you hook them up. How hungry you is. Your ass be hungry, you'll eat them. I do. Just like how you eat that damn bologna. That's why I said I'm finna start buying bologna. Because why buy ham? Because
everybody know got a bologna.
My thing is this: would you rather spend $2 or $5?
$5.
But if you only had $6 to go to the grocery store with, and you needed something to eat, would you go to the grocery store and buy some ham and bread, or would you go to the store and get you some bologna and bread? Which one would you do? If that's the only two things in the store.
I'm going with ham and bread.
Ham and bread.
I'm not for to eat no fucking bologna. Don't nobody want no fucking.
You ain't even gonna have enough for no ham for the bread though.
Fuck somebody give me some dough to get some bread. I'm not for to buy no bologna. I don't give a fuck if it's $1. That's just like you trying to tell me I gotta goddamn go back and start eating ramen noodles every goddamn day.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with noodles though if you learn how to hook them up. Just like how you like me to make a sweet sauce. A sweet sauce on that breakfast rice I be doing. I do my noodles just like that. I make a sweet sauce and it be good. And I make me a boiled egg to go with it, and some sausage, and cut some onion up in there. It's all in how you do it. It ain't the fact that I'm just don't nobody eat this no more. Don't nobody eat that no more. If it was good then, it's good now.
I'm not eating bologna. I'm a grown ass man.
That ain't got nothing to do with nothing though.
I don't want a bologna.
If you eat a hot dog, you can eat bologna. It's the same thing.
Notice when I tell you to go to the store now.
You say get a beef hot dog. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So we can buy some Oscar Mayer beef bologna.
I don't want that. I don't want nothing to do with bologna in the name of that motherfucker.
Why you don't want bologna?
I just don't want it no more. It ain't for me.
Why? Why you don't want bologna though?
I already told you.
You just saying it ain't for you. What makes you special to think that you can't have no bologna?
Well, I make my own money now.
That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But sometimes you got to learn how to save, conserve, and preserve.
I've been doing that too long. I'm getting me some ham. That shit is not good. It just ain't good.
It is good though when you fry it.
I only want no fried bologna.
You like grease?
I don't want it. Still don't want it. It was good baking day when the burnt edges run.
Exactly, be burnt. The burnt the better. The more burnt the better.
Yeah, it was.
Okay then, so that's why I say I'm gonna get some bologna since you said it.
I'm telling you right now, do not bring no motherfucking bologna in this house, man.
I don't know what you think. How can you tell me something like that? If we gotta eat, we gotta eat. I don't care if it's bologna, noodles, beans and rice. We gonna eat.
Nobody no bologna here. Grandma don't stay here no more.
Okay, so if you what they gotta do with grandma? Grandma did like bologna, but ain't no wrong with the bologna if that's what you got to have. Sometimes you just got to take a step back in life.
You ain't have to have bologna, you just like it.
But sometimes you got to take a step back in life to be able to move forward. You said that you don't look back. Sometimes you have to go back to go forward. You ain't got to step all the way down, but sometimes you got to. Sometimes you got to step back a little bit. That's just like how we used to go in the store and we was buying them name brand tater chips, even though they was on sale. We over there buying Lay's and Chester's and Doritos and all that stuff like that. It was nice, getting that. But before that, what we was buying great value chips. Okay, so I see that groceries going up. We need to stretch our dollar. All right, so now it's time to go back to great value. Ain't you been eating great value just fine? You look like you've been tearing them up to me.
I know bologna.
If you had bologna and I hooked that bologna sandwich up, Fry that bologna, put you some cheese on there, toast your bread, probably put your little barbecue sauce on there because you said you need barbecue sauce. Put your little barbecue sauce on there, put your little chips on the side, pack it up for you to go to work because, baby, you was on lunch break, you ready to eat. You ain't going to be stunting that it's bologna or ham.
Mushroom in my shit that time.
And your ass ate it. You like to love to say, you ain't going to eat something, but as soon as I fix it up for you, you eating. They ain't the same.
I don't want no bologna. That's all I got.
Like, you don't understand our struggle, though, is what I'm trying to tell you. When you going through a struggle sometimes you got to do what you got to do. It may not be the best, but as long as I hook it up and it tastes good, who cares if it's bologna or ham?
I don't want bologna. Please don't get them bologna. Please, nobody want that shit.
You know? I'm just saying, though. I was just sitting here just reflecting on, I don't give myself credit sometimes for what I do, you know? And I thank God for where I'm at in my life, being who I am.
Who you talking to?
Being who I am. I'm talking to you. Because I'm just saying, because I know that I don't give myself enough credit. I know I don't. But when I sit and I think about where we at now today, what we have in our life, I thank God for where I'm at. I thank God for the being the budgeter that I am, the frugal person that I am, the wise person that I am when it comes to handling my business. You know what I'm saying? And when you don't know how to handle business, it's a problem. That's why you got people in this world that they get houses repossessed, cars repossessed, ain't paying their light bills, getting kicked out of government assistant places. You know what I'm saying? Getting kicked out of government assistant living places. Like, how can you get kicked out of somewhere where you barely paying anything at? It's because you don't prioritize. And when you don't prioritize, that's what happens. So when I sit back and I think about that thing, and I really hardly ever think about where I am, and I'm like, when I sit back and I just think about, I really prioritize my life. I prioritize my life. That's why I'm where I am. And I thank God for that. I thank God for it may be a slow growth, but I thank God for my growth. Because without being a budgeter, without being frugal, I be lost. I be somewhere, honey, and just messed up. And you can't have two people together that's like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, one person got to be responsible when the other one ain't. Somebody got to be responsible in the situation. Somebody got to want to pay some bills. Somebody got to know how to shop. Like, this food don't. You got to know how to stretch your money. Money don't grow on trees. You got to know when you can and when you can't. You got to know how to tell yourself no sometimes. You got to know how to just want sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just worry about your needs. And as long as your needs is met, then that's all that matters. Like, that's how I am. As long as my needs is met, that's all that matters to me. As long as I got a roof over my head, food in my refrigerator, I don't care what it is that I want. As long as my needs is met, I'm happy. So I just he going to sleep. But I had just wanted, to talk about that because
you deeper than the motherfucker. God damn. You're talking nigga for 40 hours. Shit. God damn. God damn.
I thought you just said that you was a good listener, though.
God damn. Shit. God damn.
I thought you just said you was a good listener.
I lied. Oh, how much Jesus.
But
I misheard, oh Lord, how much. Just wait, hold the thought. Don't talk no more.
I'm just, but I'm just saying though. But what if you had the responsibilities that I have? Even though you don't, even though you do, but you don't have to do that though. But what if you, babe? I got to hold this shit down.
Yeah.
I got to hold it down here. Do you think you'll be able to do that? That's mama. You think you'll
Mm-hmm.
be able to do that?
I don't know. Mm. I tell you what, then you go work. I sit in the house and
I am
we'll
working
find out.
though.
I'm just saying we'll find out.
I am. We is finding out. So that's what I'm saying.
That's the only way you gonna know.
But I'm just asking. No, I'm just asking you. Like, what do you think? You think you could do it?
I don't know.
You think you could? You think you could? You think you could work and and handle all these bills and the stress of paying the bills and just making sure you maintain, stay on top? You want to be able to do that though. It ain't no I don't know. You want to be able to do that. You want to know that I can do this. Because if I wasn't here, I want to be able to know that you can do it. That's why when I pay bills every month, my reason for paying bills early every month is because if anything was to happen to me, I don't want you to have to worry about bills. If anything was to happen to me, if I could be done paying my bills early and something happened to me after my bills is paid, at least that next month you don't have to worry about paying bills. So that's one of my main reasons that I pay bills early is because I don't ever want you to have to worry about paying bills. I need you to focus on me because everybody don't handle situations the same. Some people they stress behind stuff more than the others. And sometimes they put they problems before their priorities. They be going through stuff, they be stressed out, depressed, life be just having its way with them. But at the same time they be going through whatever it is they be going through, they forget all about the priorities. Regardless of what you're going through, your bill's still gonna be there. You still gotta eat. You still gotta do what you need to do to make sure that you maintain. You know. So I just wanted to really talk to y'all because I wanted y'all some feedback to see like what y'all think about,
My phone said he asked a lot of questions. Give me case.
to see what y'all think about, stuff like
This girl done went on here on these this girl. You ain't got nothing better to do with your time. Oh,
that.
night. In the morning.
Okay. You go that way because you finna be snoring and I don't want to hear it and they don't either.
Get your mic. That's why you got your mic.
Still, you ain't get it from up under the dresser. I told you the other day to get it from up
There's a
under.
mic right there on the dresser.
No, it's not.
Yes,
The
it
other piece that
is.
goes in the phone. Roll the other way.
Babe.
Babe, just go this way. I know you be this way any other time, but just go that way
Oh, I
right
can't
now.
go to sleep.
All right, you can go this way. Let me turn. I'll turn the other way. I'll turn over.
You know how I go to sleep.
What? Ain't nobody studying you. I ain't finna be doing nothing. I'm just trying to talk to them about life. About life.
You need to be going to sleep.
I ain't sleepy.
Yeah, tell somebody this. Them folks might gotta go to work in the morning.
If they got to go to work, then that ain't my problem. They on here. They here to watch me, support me, cause they here to see what I got to say. Ain't that right, y'all? But yeah, like I was just sitting here talking with Bay, and I was just reflecting, on where I'm at. You know, I'm not a I'm not a braggy person. I'm not an ungrateful person, but I'm thankful. You know, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for where I'm at. I'm thankful for where I have what I have. And like I told my husband, I'm not. I know that God placed us here for a reason. And we was also talking about having children and stuff. And I was like, it's a blessing to not have kids, and I understand my blessing. And like I told him, if I really had to be real with myself, if I had to be real with myself, yes, I would love to have kids, but at the same time, I understand the struggles that other people have with having children. And other people that have kids, they wish that they can be their life can be like mine. You know, some people they wish their life could be like mine. They wish that they could turn back the hands of times, even though they love their kids. But some people wish that they would have waited. Some people wish that they didn't have no kids, you know? And so it's a blessing to have them. But like I told my husband, I'm glad that God saw us fit enough to not have them. Because at the end of the day, like I was telling him, you know, no matter how much a person have, you can never judge a person's book by a cover. You know, you can never say, "Oh, I know this person got it going on," or "that person living good," or "that person this," or "that person that," because you see that they got a house, you see they got a car, you see they dress nice, you see they got jewelry, you see they ain't got no kids. You can't say that a person is living good because of the things that they have. Just like a person that, let's just say, and I'm not saying that I have that much, but I'm just going to use the figure of speech. You know, just like a person that has lesser than me, their house may not be the size of mine. They may not have two cars. They may just have one. They may have children. But the thing about it is, God see us fit. God give us what we need for what we have. You know, we fit enough for our situation. You know, like that just because we have more than a little bit more than the next person does not mean that we living better than the next person. That does not mean you living better than the next person just because you have a little bit more, just because you ain't got no kids. That don't mean nothing. That's why I say it don't make sense for people to go around and be want to flash their money and stuff like that. You ain't got to flash your money, because at the end of the day, without you even showing how much money that you have in your possession, in your bank account, or in your purse, your wallet, whatever, that don't matter. The things that you have, people see that. People see those things. So they automatically gonna think that you got it like that because of the things that you have. So why do you have to go and flash your money? You don't have to flash your money. They already looking. They see what you got. So they automatically gonna think that, oh, they got it going on. When they really just don't know, you ain't got it going on like that. Because you gotta do what you gotta do to maintain. Just because you have them things, you gotta maintain what you got. So that's why I've said, I was telling my husband, I'm like, I thank God for, what he have done for us, put us in this house. Because God knew what he was doing when he put us in this house. God was helping us dodge a bullet. God was helping us dodge what's going on today. God knew that that rent was going to be sky high, high, high as a rat's behind. And he knew that we probably weren't even going to be able to pay that. I can say that. I could say we definitely wouldn't have been living comfortable paying the rent that people is paying today. So I thank God for putting us in a house in something that we can afford, something that we can maintain, take care of, continue to live comfortable off of. You know what I'm saying? He does. God do what He do for a reason. He placed you in certain at certain levels in your life for a reason. He'll allow you to have certain things in your life for a reason. He'll allow you to not have certain things in your life for a reason. Love, getting love from parents. That's true too. That's true too. But at the end of the day, see, that's another thing. And my husband was like, and he was like, well, I would still like to have one, just to, when I leave this world, I'll be done left behind a legacy and stuff like that. Like, and I tell him like, okay, but do you really want it to be like that? Do you want to have a child? Don't nobody want to have a child and leave a child behind. What if God bless you with a child and you leave that child just too early? Like now you're gonna leave the child longing for the father to be there. And then at the same time, like, what if God was to bless us with with some children and neither one of us is there? Nobody's gonna love our children like we love our children. You know what I'm saying? We will love our children. Nobody's gonna love them like that. So it's a blessing to us that we don't have none. I appreciate my blessing. I do. And it's not that I'm being selfish. I just see my blessing. A lot of people, they can't see their blessings. They can't see where God has worked favors out in their life. And so I appreciate my blessing. I do. I appreciate my blessing. Bad as I know that I wouldn't mind having a child, I wouldn't. But I appreciate where I'm at. I appreciate that I don't have to get up during the night. That may sound selfish to some, that may sound, but to me, it's not because I can see my blessing, you know? So it's not for other people to understand that. But if you was in my shoes, it only if you was in my shoes, where I'm at in my life, then you will understand where I'm coming from. But you may not understand where I'm coming from because a lot of people have the mind where they like, oh, you need kids, or oh, you don't want to be lonely. Hell, people that got kids be lonely. What's the difference? What's the difference? When they get older, they go their own ways. They visit you how they want to. Sometimes they don't even visit at all. So having children is not going to keep you from being lonely. You know, just like having a spouse not going to keep you from being lonely because you could be laying up with a spouse every night, but you still be lonely. And that's what I was telling my husband. See, I'm learning about myself that I appreciate my peace. That's what I appreciate. I appreciate peace. When it and like I told my husband, like I was like, sometimes I what I love about him, I was like, you he said that he's not a people person, but I see in him that he's a people person. He's friendly. And that's what I like about him because, like certain things that you see in other people that you don't have in yourself, you be wanting that for yourself, right? Or that's how you be wanting to be sometimes, or something that you be wanting to have sometimes, that you see in other people, you be wanting that for yourself. And so I told him, I was like, I see in you that you are a friendly person, and I love that about you because that's what I be wanting to be. But then at the same time, I realized that that's not what I want to be. That's not what I need to be. I thank God for the person that I am because I know that I don't need people in my life like that. I know that I don't have to have a whole lot of friends. I know that if I feel a certain type of way about somebody and I see them for who they really is, I know that I'm the type of person that I'm going to keep my distance from them. I don't have to be up under somebody that I know don't like me. You see what I'm saying? I'm not the type of person that want to hang out with somebody that don't like me. But I'm also not the person that will make somebody feel uncomfortable even when I know I don't like you and I have to be in the same room with you. I just know how to be cordial until for that time being. You know what I'm saying? Unless you rub me the wrong way, then you may get the other side of me. But I know how to be cordial. And that's what I like about even when I don't like you. I know how to be cordial. So it's not meant for me to be that old friendly type person with everybody because like I told my husband, I could see people for who they is. I could see people for who they is, and when I recognize that you is the type of person that's not for me, I'm gonna keep my distance. I have no problem with that. But everybody can't do that. Everybody can't do that because some people will be in the presence with somebody else that they don't like, or they know that don't like them, and they just forcing that. They just forcing themselves to be around them. Like they don't know that this person don't like them. Why put yourself in a room with someone that you know that don't want to have nothing to do with you? I'm just not that person. I'm just not. And that's why I said wanting to be friendly, that comes along with being extra friendly. You just put yourself in rooms with people, you just be liking and loving everybody when you just need to keep your distance sometimes and just be to yourself. It's okay. But it does get lonely, not being a people person. It gets lonely sometimes. I ain't gonna lie, it gets lonely, but who don't get lonely? You know what I'm saying? People that's friendly, hell, they get lonely too. But I'm just thankful for who I am. Cause I'm happy in my own little bubble, in my with my small little circle, with being myself. I'm happy with that. I don't need the most. I don't have to have the most. I don't have to be doing what everybody is doing. I don't have to be following nobody. I don't have to look like the next person. I don't want to have things that other people have because that's just what people gotta doing things that other people is doing because that's what they doing, or doing stuff because people think that that's the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like just having to follow trends and having to just look a certain type. I'm just not that person. I'm just not that person. I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm happy with what I have. I'm happy with the little things in life. I don't have to have I don't have to have I just don't have to follow what everybody is doing. I don't. I do what is good enough for me, and I'm happy with that. And that's it. Like I just don't have to. I don't have to have the most. I don't. I'm happy where I'm at, and I'm happy that I'm the person that I am. I'm happy that I'm the person that I am because I can see my blessings. It's bad when you can't see your blessings. Let me tell you something. Some people that can't see their blessings is just so ungrateful with what they don't have. They want more. They're never satisfied with what they got. You know what I'm saying? They just always ungrateful. People that don't see their blessings. And I thank God that I can see mine. I thank God for that. I thank God that I can appreciate the little things in life. I thank God for that. That's something big to me. When you can appreciate the little things in life, that's something big to me. Because how can you expect God to bless you with greater things when you can't appreciate where you at in the now? You know, when you can't see your blessings in what you don't even have. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. I don't have to have the most. I don't. But I thank God for who I am. I know I'm not liked by everybody. I'm not loved by everybody. But at the end of the day, it's okay. It is okay. And I'm learning that. I'm learning it is okay. It's okay. If people didn't like Jesus, so who am I? Who am I? I wouldn't be the person that I am if God didn't create me to be the way that I am. And I thank God for creating me to be the way that I am. I'm not out here trying to hurt nobody. I'm not out here trying to do nothing to scam nobody. I'm not no bad person. So I thank God for who I am because I have a heart for others, and I try to give what I can, and I try to do what I can for people sometimes, and that's all that matters. That is all that matters to me. I know that I'm not doing nothing out the way. I ain't doing nothing out the way. And if people don't like me in the process of me staying out the way and being to myself and not trying to do the most or speaking my mind at times, it is what it is. It is what it is. Because my peace mean more to me than having friends, having people that's supposed to like me that really don't. My peace means more. So I told my husband, yeah, we in this house, we live good. I thank God for that. This is more space that me and him both together even need. But I thank God for my space. Because I realized by having this big house, we don't even need a big house. And to me, I really can't see the size. I really can't see the size of it. I can feel it when it's time to clean it up, but I really can't see the size of it because I'm grateful for my blessing. God didn't give me this house to say, "Oh, I got a big house. Oh, I got this. I got that. I got 3 bedrooms. I got my own this. I got this. My kitchen look like that. My house look like that. I got my car. I got these cars. I got this much yard. I got this much backyard." God didn't give me this for that reason. God gave me this because He was setting us up for our future. He was helping us with our future. And this is not the ending. This is not the ending for us. This is not This is not where we gonna stop. We gonna continue to grow and have more. You wanna know why? Because God knows I want more. God knows that. I want more in life. I wanna be in a more peaceful, even though my area is peaceful, don't get me wrong. But what I mean by peaceful is I wanna be out kind of like living the country life. I want my own pond. And I was just telling my husband this, I want me a pond. I want me a pond where I can go fishing in my own fishing pond because God knows I love to fish. God knows this about me. I love to fish. I just don't know how to fish for real, but I love to fish. And I love to fish because it's peaceful. I love my peace. I love peace. I love that. So I feel like that this is not where I'm going to end up at. This is not my forever. This is just somewhere until God get ready to take us to that next level in our life. You know, and that's all this is. So I have to be humble. I have to be grateful. I have to be um thankful, content for right now with what I have. Because right now, this is the little things. God is gonna bless me with greater, and I see myself in a living country life with a pond. Because, like I told my husband, that's my entertainment. Going fishing every day, that's my entertainment. Somewhere I can get out in my front yard because he know that I'm an introvert. I'm a homebody. I don't like to get out. I like to stay home. But if I had me a pond where I can go fishing, I'll be sitting at my pond every day because I love water. It's just sitting there looking at that water is just so peaceful to me. And then just throwing my line out there in that water, it's feel like I'm connecting with the fish in the water, you know, the animals. And I feel like I be having a connection with them. Like when I was going fishing and stuff like that and I was doing the lives with y'all, I had found me a spot where I was catching a fish every now and then in that spot. And I felt like that I had learned that spot of the water, you know. I knew where the catfish was sitting at. I knew where the little fish was sitting at. I knew where the turtles was at. I learned the right where I was fishing at. I learned what was in certain areas of that water when I threw my line out there. I connected with that. So I would be like that if I had my own pond. I would have that type of connection when I go fishing. I don't know what's going on in the bottom. I even got to the point, y'all, I learned how to see through that water. Like some people when they fishing, they can I'm gonna tell you, when I first started fishing out there and stuff like that with y'all, I couldn't see through that water. I couldn't see through it. But once I started fishing and learning how to fish and stuff, I was able to be able to see through that water. It was something about my eyes with me fishing, and everything that you do is there's a technique to and it's be skills to stuff that you be doing too. That's just like with me doing my nails, right? All right. So if y'all follow me from when I started doing my nails and stuff like that, I had my eyes had got to the point where it started adjusting. I was able to see balance. And I was so proud of myself because I've noticed how my eyes had started changing to where I was able to see balance compared to when I was starting, I couldn't see that. Okay, so with fishing, I couldn't see in that water when I was fishing. But the more and more I started fishing, I was able to see in that water. I was able to see in that water. I was able to see the fish in the water. I was able to see the structures that was in the water. I was able to see the stuff in the water. It's like you learn these things. The more and more you do something, the better you get at it. I learned how to throw that line out there. I learned how to reel them in. I learned how to fix my line. I was learning. You learn what type of hook catch what fish. All that takes practice. So the more and more I was doing it, the more and more I was learning. But like I said, back to me and my little house on the prairie. I would be in the country somewhere with me a pond, living peaceful. with me in peace, we live in peace, and that's all I want. I just want to live peaceful. I don't have to have everything. I'll do my little orders every now and then, because when I get interested into something, that's when I start ordering stuff, buying stuff, shopping for stuff. I get interested in doing certain things, because I'm a homebody. I'm a homebody. You might got to go out and come back in because I'm a homebody. So I get interest in certain things, and I may not keep doing it for a long period of time, but that's because I get bored with stuff too. And I know y'all understand, but I get bored with stuff. So I do something for a certain amount of time, then I stop. Then I go on to the next thing. But I like being at home. I like being where I know I'm safe at. I like being where I don't have to be in no kind of confrontation with people. I like being where I'm not in competition with people. I like being at peace. I like that. I like being at peace. But I be wanting people to come to me, sometimes and enjoy the things that I like instead of me going to do what people want to do all the time. You always running the streets. You always here. You always there. You always out and about in the mix. I ain't got to do that. I ain't got to do that. I like doing what I like to do, what I want to do. And sometimes what I want to do is nothing at all. And I don't know if I don't know if that is just maturity that makes you like that, or if I'm just, or if just being a homebody, you just like that. My husband's snoring, y'all. He getting down over here. I ain't gonna wake him up though. I'm gonna let him snow because he got to go to work. But it's yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you know, I'm just happy with what I got. I'm happy where I'm at, and I know God got better for me because I want more. I want to have better. I know I'm gonna get there, and to get where I'm at, there was nothing I had to do. So for God to elevate me and move me further in my life to the other things that I want, I know that there's nothing that I'm gonna have to do because He know what I want. He knows exactly what I want. He know where I want to be. He knows I want this pond. I want me a pond. I know I'm scared of bugs. I'm scared of fish. I'm scared of bug. Well, I'm scared of some fish too. I'm scared of bugs and I'm scared of animals and all of that. But I want that country life. I want that country living. I want to be. I don't want to be too far from city, but I want to be in the country. I want to be in the country. I want to be out there where ain't nobody at, where it's safe. Am I muted? You might got to go out and come back in. But I would just want to be out somewhere where it's safe. And not saying that living in the country is safe, but what I'm saying is I don't want that many people around me. Don't really need that many people around me. I won't mind having neighbors, but if I want to get in my yard and have a yard party and play my music loud as I can get it, I want to be able to do that. If I wanna have enough land that way if my family ever need me, they can come put a trailer on my land. We could build some tiny houses on my land. You know, where me and my people is together. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be able to be that foundation that they would need to keep on striving and growing in life, being the to be able to make it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to have to lean on me for everything. I don't want that. But if they need someone to lay their head, if they can, you know what I'm saying? If things get out here so rough where they can't make it, I want them to be able to come to me and we could do this thing right here on my property. You know what I'm saying? And y'all, they ain't got to go nowhere. They ain't got to go nowhere. I ain't gonna tell you that they can live there rent free now and stuff like that because hell, I can't live where I'm gonna be at, free. So, but instead of them having to pay all that money out to somebody else, put it into me because I'm putting it to us. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I see it. I wanna be, I wanna be that foundation. If my siblings need me, because my mom is not gonna be there forever, and my mom ain't gonna be there forever, and I know this, and we're gonna have to be able to lean on one another one day. You know, I don't want for us to ever grow apart because that's not how siblings should be. I want us to, continue to have that love that siblings should have for one another, even if we ain't talking every day on the phone. Because you ain't got to talk to a person every day for them to know that they love you. But time spent every now and then is good enough for me. It's good enough for me. I'm telling y'all, I'm so simple. I don't need the most. I don't. I don't like to be aggravated like that. I don't. I don't. That's why I don't care for the texting like that. I can't stand texting y'all. I can't stand it because for one, it's aggravating. It's aggravating to be sitting there sending texts back to back, back to back, back to back, when you could just get on the phone and say what you got to say quicker than you can send a text messages. You know what I'm saying? And when you get on the phone, you may enjoy the conversation with me more than sending a text message, just as well as I would enjoy the conversation with you more than sending a text message. I'd rather sit on the phone and talk than send messages. So I can't stand texting. It's aggravating. Um, and I don't want to be aggravated all the time. I don't want to be aggravated all the time. I like to do my own thing. I don't want to be bothered sometimes. That's just my personality. I just don't want to be bothered sometimes. Over the phone and stuff. But you come and visit me, it's fine. All good. I love to have company. I love it. I love having my family over, entertaining them, cooking for them. We having a good time. I love that. But also, even if family was around, I still want to have my space too sometimes. That's just me. I like to have my space. But like I told my husband, I'm grateful where I'm at. I ain't got to have the most. And I was telling him, sometimes you gotta take a step back. He was like, "No, you don't take no step back. You keep going forward." Yeah, people that don't understand life will think that you're gonna always go forward, no matter who you is. Sometimes you take a step back in order to keep pushing forward. Just because you take a step back, don't mean that you stay there. You take a you. It's better for you to take a step back yourself instead of being forced to be knocked down. You see what I'm saying? Like you could be up here and then life will just knock you down. I'd rather take a step back myself before I allow life to knock me down. And I take a step back because this is what I know I need to do in order to keep from being knocked down. So my husband like, no, you keep going forward. Yeah, you don't understand how it works. You don't understand how it works. Me, my mind think greater than that. My mind think greater than, you know, uh oh, I'm just gonna always keep pushing forward. It don't work like that. No matter what a person make it look like. They people be struggling. They just make it look good. You know? It don't matter what it looks like. Everybody have their little downfall. Everybody gotta take a step back. And like I say, like when I know that it started looking a little funny, sometimes you got to cut some things out. You can't do everything that you want to do all the time. You can't always have what you want to have. You know what I'm saying? This is a part of being frugal, being budgeted, being smart, being wise, trying to grow, trying to maneuver through life. All of this plays a part in that. So you got to know how to humble yourself. You got to know how to humble yourself and you know take a step back sometimes. Take a step back sometimes so that you can grow. Because when you take a step back, you realize you it reminds you of where you came from that helped you to get where you at. I'm telling you, my struggles helped me get where I'm at. I done had to go to food pantries before. You know what I'm saying? And I see my growth. I see my growth where I done came from food pantries to needing food stamps to here. I was trying to think of something else in between, but I couldn't think of nothing else after that. To here. I'm here where I don't depend on food stamps. I don't depend on food pantries. Everything I get, I spend my cash money with it. I thank God, cause little old me, nothing up under my belt, no education. You know where I done been to college. You know, done did something with myself. I told my husband, I was like, I have nothing, and I'm making it. I'm making it, and I thank God for that. You know, I'm making it in this world. This is a crazy world, and I'm making it. And I don't give myself credit sometimes for that, but I'm making it. I'm doing this thing. He be like, "What you talking about?" I was like, "Babe, this world is crazy. It's hard to make it in this world. It's hard to make it, but I see with God on my side, I'm doing this thing though. Something that I'm not even thinking about it, and I know like a lot of times, you know, people may not think about it, but some people do have to think about it because they be struggling. They really be struggling. I was like, you know, we could be at a point where we living paycheck to paycheck, but we not. We not even paycheck to paycheck. And I thank God for that. I thank God for the person that I am though. For the person that I am. Not that needy person. That person that don't have the most. No matter what I look like to everybody else, I know what I don't have. You know what I'm saying? So I thank God for who I am. That's why I am where I'm at today. That's why I receive my blessings. And that's why I say I thank God that I can recognize my blessings. I see my blessings. I thank God for that. Because some people they can't see their blessings. They even you know they be going through so much stuff, but at the same time they still can't see their blessing. But you go through what you're going through for a reason. God be trying to help you grow. He be trying to help you. He be trying to help move you, you know? And I know that's what he be doing. It be hard sometimes, but it have to be like that. It have to be like that because when he gets you to that next step in your life, you'll be sitting over there just like me right now. I'm just sitting over here talking, didn't even intend to be doing this. You know what I'm saying? But I'm giving God the praise for what he have done for me. Cause just like he do what he do for me, he'll do it for you. And like I told you, God do what he do for me, and I ain't even did nothing. I ain't even did nothing. I ain't got nothing, and God is doing what he doing for me. It's amazing though when you can see how he really is taking care of you. I see how he take care of me. So I know like long as he take care of me, he taking care of my husband too. He taking care of my husband too. Because he know that I'm gonna take care of him. He know I'm gonna take care of him. So God is taking care of both of us. But he using me. He using me to do it. He uses my husband too, but I do a lot of work over here, y'all. I do a lot over here to maintain. It ain't easy trying to stay above water. It ain't easy. It ain't easy to try to have a few little dollars in the bank account. It ain't easy. It ain't. But God set us up though. God has set us up for greatness. And I know this. He has set us up for greatness. And I see it. And I'm living it every day. I'm living it. And as long as I continue to believe that, I know He's going to continue to take care of me. Because I know where my help is coming from. No matter what it may look like to anybody on the outside looking in. People on the outside looking in, I'm telling you, people swear we got something. People swear we do. But we rich in Christ. We rich in Christ. Because God is taking care of us. God got everything. And He can give us anything that we want. We just gotta know that He'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Your wants ain't never too big for God. It may not come when we want it, but He give us a little bit at a time when we need it for what we need in our life at that moment, at that time. So like I told my husband, we have what we need for right now because God knows exactly what we need. We have exactly what we need for right now. And I'm happy where I'm at. Like I said, back to the children. I may not have no children, but I'm happy. I'm happy that I ain't got none because I see my blessing. I ain't got to worry about that. Then I started breaking that thing down to my husband, and I was like, man, I was like, babe, we ain't got to worry about this. We ain't got to do that. We ain't got to do that. And as I'm talking and telling him what we ain't got to do, he chimed in with me. He was like, yeah, babe. He said, we ain't got to do this. He said, we ain't got to worry about that. And I was like, you see what I'm saying? I said, you got to recognize your blessings. You got to see what God is blessing you in your current. In your current. How can you want more and you can't even see what He's blessing you in your current? You got to see what God is blessing is blessing you in your now. Dang, later is gonna take care of itself. But where you at right now in your life, you got to be able to see that for right now. If you can't see it, you can't appreciate it. You're welcome, Miss Fran. That made me feel good when y'all tell me that though, cause I want to be wise. I wanna. Even if I ain't got no book smart, I wanna have some wisdom. I wanna have some wisdom. I wanna have something that I can pass over to the next person. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter how young, how old you is, anybody can be taught something. You know what I'm saying? And you learn something every day. Anybody can be taught something from whoever. People that's way younger than you can teach you something sometimes. But that's why I told my husband, like, I sit up and I look at YouTube and he like, oh, there you go looking at that. Why you looking at that? And I told him, I'm like, babe, I love to watch older people. I love to watch people that's going through something, like, that's trying to make it. I love people that's budgeters. I love people that's frugal because that's who I learn from. I learn from people like that. So I love to watch people like that because they is instilling wisdom in me by watching them. So I don't like watching, you know, all that crime stuff and all that. That's not teaching me nothing. I don't like watching stuff like that. That's who wanna watch how somebody done died, how somebody done got killed and stuff. Who wanna watch stuff like that? I don't wanna watch how somebody done got how they done happened to somebody. I don't wanna watch that. That's just feeding evil. You know what I'm saying? I don't like watching stuff like that. Stuff like that don't excite me. I like watching stuff that's gonna teach me something. You know what I'm saying? I may not need it right now, but god dang it, later on I might need to know how to put these sticks together to build a house. I might need to know how to rub these sticks together to make a fire. I might need to know how to be a meal of five plates or something. I might need to know how to, go to the grocery store and pick out all this store brand stuff because the name brand stuff ain't doing nothing but taking all my money. You know what I'm saying? I need to know stuff like that. I need to know how to go and stretch my dollar. I need to know stuff like that. I don't need to know about cars and shoes and crimes and news and all that. I don't need to know about all that right there. I need to know how to survive. That's what I need to know. That's what interests me. How am I gonna survive? What can I do to survive? What can I do to stretch these dollars? What can I do to stop shopping so much sometimes? You know what I'm saying? What things can I do around my house that'll feed the need to shop? You know what I'm saying? What can I do to help me deal with my emotions? How do I learn to deal with my emotions? Women is emotional creatures, and we be trying to learn some stuff. Some of us do anyway. I'm one of them. I be trying to learn stuff. I need to know because I don't have the people in my life that's trying to that I will. I don't have as many people in my life. And I'm not even gonna say as I should because I feel in my spirit God don't even want me to say as I should because God give us exactly who we need and what we need for that time. So, but I don't have a lot of people in my corner that is teaching me stuff, teaching me how to make it in this world. I'm doing this by myself with the help of God and my husband. I'm doing this by myself. And wisdom, I need as much as I can get. I don't need all that craziness to be filling my head up with. I don't like watching all that drama and stuff like that because you want to know why? All that drama don't do nothing but feed that evilness in you. Everybody got some evilness in them. The evil spirits. Everybody carry them around. So I don't need nothing that's going to be feeding that energy because once you start feeding that, then you start noticing how your life just started taking turns for the worse. So I don't want to feed that. I need something that's gonna feed my spirit. I need something the good spirit. Feed my soul. Something that's gonna help me grow. You know, cause I ain't gonna be 37. I ain't gonna be young all my life. I need to know what I need to do when I get old. I need to set myself up for then. You know what I'm saying? Me too, Tika. I love that. I love watching people cook outside. I'm telling you. I love all kind of stuff my husband called crazy. I love watching stuff like that because it's interesting to me. Cause one day I want to be able to do stuff like that even with a roof over my head. I want to be able to get out of my yard and build bonfires and I like the country living. I just love it. I love the country life, but I can't stand mess and negativity, and that feeds the other side of me. You know what I'm saying? Mess and negativity, it feeds the other side of me. I have another side of me that I don't like. So as long as I'm around that type of people, it feeds that and it brings that out of me, and I don't like that. I want to be as positive, as good hearted as I can be. I don't want to be the evil Tiana. I don't want to be that. I want to be a good person. I want to have some wisdom for somebody. I want to be able to motivate somebody. I want to be I want to let somebody know what they need to do when they get stuck in their life. You know what I'm saying? When they need to get pulled out of a situation, I want to have the words of encouragement for them. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to uplift somebody when they down. Somebody come to me, I want to have exactly what they need to heal to help them get up out of whatever it is they in. And some people, I'm telling you, you got some people in this world, man, they old as dirt and they ain't got no wisdom for you. They ain't trying to tell you nothing good. They you got how you got those people that agree with you when you in your wrong. I don't like people like that. Don't agree with people when they in the wrong because how are you gonna agree with them when they wrong, the more you agree with them and they wrong and not trying to tell them right, they'll never learn. If you know right from wrong, if you know what it is that they doing wrong, and they coming to talk to you and tell you about what it is that they doing, and you see that they need to take another direction, and you know they gonna listen. First of all, if you come talk to me, you better be ready to listen to me, because I'm gonna tell you what your grandmama should have told you. That's how I am. But don't come to me if you don't want to hear what grandma should have told you. I'm gonna tell you what grandma should have told you, whether you like it or not. Because at the end of the day, you should have never came to me. I'm not gonna agree with nobody in they wrong. I'm not, because I want people to do better. I want you to have better. So why would I tell you anything to keep you from getting that? That's not me. But we don't have enough people in this world that's like that. That want to try to, you know, kick you to give you the real stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let you know what time of day it really is, and respectfully though. See, that's the thing about it. You got it don't matter. It's not what you say, it's how you say what it is that you're saying. You want to give people advice and encourage somebody to do something, you gotta know how to do that tender heartedly. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know how you may be affecting the person that you giving this information to. So you gotta know how to be tender hearted with what it is that you're trying to tell somebody that they need to do. That's what I can't stand about people that give advice. They love to want to try to give you advice, but they want to be straight, cutthroat, and blunt with it. It's all right to be blunt sometimes, but you got to know who to be blunt with. You don't just be just blunt with everybody, because people is sensitive. No matter it's man, woman, child, or adult, people is sensitive, and you got to know. And no matter if that person said, well, I ain't got no sense, I ain't got no sensitive side. Everybody have a sensitive side. You ain't got no sensitivity to yourself, you ain't human. Everybody have a sensitive side. Some is more sensitive than others. So you have to know how to be sensitive with people sometimes, regardless of how you is. If you ain't got no sensitivity about yourself, you need to keep your opinions to yourself. You really do, because you never know how you affecting a person with the words that you saying. And like I said, it ain't what you saying; it's how you delivering it. It's your delivery is what matters. So you gotta know how to deliver stuff. Sometimes people don't know how to do that. But I guess I just want to get on here and just, even if I know some of y'all listening to me, thank y'all for listening. But I think I just needed to do this. I didn't intend on it, but I think I just need to do this, so I could put out there in the atmosphere and just tell God how thankful I am of Him. And with me telling Him out in the opening, it's somebody else listening to me, and they learning something from what I'm saying. And if it ain't, I mean, that's not my reason for even telling it. I'm just on here just talking, but I'm thanking God at the same time, because I know where my help come from, and I know my heart, I know my intentions, and I know the type of person that I am. And I ain't gonna be liked by everybody. It's okay. It is perfectly fine with me, because everybody is not meant for you. Everybody who's meant for me is meant for me, and who's ain't, it's okay. It is okay. Who's in my life is in my life. Who ain't in my life, it's okay. It's okay. It is okay. Because even with us being on this internet, some of y'all, I know y'all feel like I'm y'all friend. I probably feel like a sister, a niece, a granddaughter to you. Some of you feel some type of connection from me. Just as well as some of y'all on here, I feel from y'all. But everybody I'm not gonna feel like that from everybody. And it's all right. And you gotta be okay with that too. But I know how it is watching YouTube. You watch people for so long and you swear you know them. You really don't be knowing them like that, but you feel like you do. You get a you gain a connection. You learn, you start loving them and stuff. I know how that feel. I know exactly how y'all feel. You start loving on the person that you watch. I know exactly how y'all feel. And I know some of y'all probably got that same connection for me, you know? So I get it. I get it. But I want to be a good example to people. I want to have some wisdom for some people. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to tell you some real stuff because there's enough fakeness going on in this world. I don't need to add to it, you know. So, what's up, TT? I ain't really got to I ain't got to add to it. It's enough of it going around. Let me spread some positivity, some OG stuff, some wisdom, like y'all say. You know, let me spread some of that because we ain't got enough people that's trying to put wisdom out here for folks. You know, these young people and old people too, they need some wisdom. They need it. I'm telling you, we ain't got none of that no more because grandmas is in their 30s now. You know what I'm saying? They still trying to learn some stuff they sell. So we ain't got the real OG grandmas like we had back in the day no more like that. Like we ain't got stuff like that no more. So when you got some people that's like me, they got some wisdom. We need more people like me that's trying to spread that to people in this world. We need people like me because some people they just too scared to say stuff sometimes. They too scared to, tell them what they need to do or give them a little advice. Or I ain't gonna say nothing to them. They got to learn that they got to learn on their own. That's true. But with a little wisdom that you be done gave them, that's something that they'll be able to use later on in life, even when you think they ain't listening. You know what I'm saying? You still got to give it to them because just because you think they ain't listening, they ain't doing what you tell them to do right then and there, and a year from there and all that right there. But I'm telling you, in due time, what you be done told them, oh, it's gonna come back to them, and they gonna remember it. And I was just sitting and I was just talking the other day, and I done told y'all about how mean my dad was, and my dad was this, and my dad was that, and my dad this, and dad was that, and my dad was crazy. My dad ain't had no sense, and little stuff like that. That stuff was coming from my pain. That was coming from my hurt. That was coming from what I had to. It's excuse me once again, y'all. He's snoring. But that was coming from what I went through as a child, what he allowed me to see, what both my parents together allowed me to see. That was coming from my hurt, my trauma. That's where that was coming from. That's why it's so easy to talk about he was this and he was that. But the older I'm getting, the more I appreciate the good things he did teach me. That's starting to outweigh the bad things. It's like I'm starting to not allow that to affect me no more. The bad things that he did and allowed me to see because that's what's going to keep me held down. That's going to keep me always talking about he was this and he was that and he was this and he was that and he did this and I don't like because he did that. Like I can't hang on to that forever because that's going to keep me down. And you know what? But I thank God for this though. I thank God for recognizing that because at one point in time I used to sit on YouTube and cry every time I talked about him. Every time I talked about him, I used to cry. So I thank God that I'm where I'm at today because I remember what about 2 years ago now. I was telling y'all, people always want to tell you to build a bridge and get over it, but they'll never give you the recipe to how to get over it. They always want to tell you what you need to do, but they never try to tell you how it is that you're supposed to get over it, what it is that you're supposed to do to help yourself move past your hurt, your pain, your traumas that you be done had. People don't never want to tell you that. They just want to tell you what you need to do. Okay, in order for me to do that, how do I get there? That's what I need to know. Moving past traumas in your life and mental abuse and stuff like that. That's not easy to try to get over. To try to forget, put in the back of your mind and move forward because you're grown. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. It takes growth. It takes wanting to grow. It takes understanding. That's what it takes. It takes understanding where your parents came from when they did what they did. It takes for you to understand who they were for you to be able to move past that. And now that I understand who he was, what he was, why he was the way that he was, that's helping me move forward. I always thought that I needed him to give me an apology in order to move past that. I can't get that no more. I got to stop looking for an apology because I would never get that from him. I would never. He done left this world and ain't coming back. So how can I look for something from him that I would never get? I can't look for an apology from him no more. I can't look for I can't expect that. So now I got to find my way to move past that hurt, that pain in order to, forgive, not forget, but forget some, to forgive and grow. And that's where I'm at now. I'm growing past that. And I thank God for that, though. I thank God because God is teaching me how to move past that. Move past that pain in my life because it happened, but it happened for a reason. It happened for a reason. He was who he was and he couldn't help it. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't help it. And I understand that. So now I understand that it helps me to understand it's all right. People go through things in their life. Some people done been through worse things than I done been through. But guess what? They have to learn how to move past what they went through because what they went through, it was for a reason. And it only made them the person that he is today. Today. So it's how you take your situation and grow from it. Do you want to grow or do you want to continue to dwell and cry? I don't want to continue to dwell and cry. I wanted to get past that. I got tired of crying. I got tired of feeling sad. I got tired of putting on little pity parties. I got tired of feeling like a little girl that was lost and feeling unloved. You know what I'm saying? I got tired of feeling like that. I wanted to get better than that. So, and God knew that. He knew I wanted to be better than that. So he started working in my life. He started giving me understanding to why he was the way that he was. I didn't understand, and it started when he passed. That's when I understand start began to understand who he was and why he was the way that he was. I never thought about it when he was living. I just always wanted to point fingers, point fingers, point fingers. You did this and you did that. You hurt me. You hurt me in this way. You hurt me in that way. And you the reason why I act like this, or you the reason why I don't love this way, or you know what I'm saying? And just constantly pointing fingers wasn't doing nothing but burying me deeper and deeper in my hurt. I had to come out of that. I had to come out of that, and I'm rising up out of that. I'm still rising. I'm still rising, and I'm gonna come out of that because my pain that I felt that went in the dirt with him. And somebody told me this though. That's what she had to do. She had to put all her pain in the dirt with her father when he passed. I didn't understand that, but now I do. That's right. That's right. And the way I changed my way of thinking is I had to make my own excuses for why he was the way that he was. I had to make my excuses because long as I made my excuses, then my excuses made it okay for me to move past it a little bit. I guess that's what it is. My excuses is was almost like um my answers to why he did what he did. I gave my own self the answers. And now that I have my own answers to why he did what he did, why he was the way that he was, I didn't make that part up because, I kind of figured that part out along this journey. But um, now I understand, who he was, why he did what he did. I understand he about didn't know no better. Sometimes you got to remind yourself of that too. You know what I'm saying? Parents is not giving a handbook to, oh, you supposed to do this or you supposed to do that to raise good children. Because parents, shoot, they can be given a handbook to do this and do that and still end up with terrible children. But I understand he did the best that he can with the way that he was for his reasons. And that's what's helping me move forward. That's what's helping me move forward. He did the best he can. He couldn't help it. He couldn't help it. He couldn't help it. So I don't want to continue to be upset at him because of what he did not know. God say forgive them for what they do not know. So he didn't know. He didn't know no better. He probably wanted better. He just ain't know how to do better. You know? That's it. He probably wanted to do better. He probably didn't even know how to do better without looking like worrying about what everybody else have to think. He could have been the type of person that worried about what everybody else think, but pretended like he didn't. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know what that feels like. I know exactly what that feels like. So I have to be understanding to that. But I can't say I wish that I would have learned this when he was here. I can't say that because he ain't here now. So I can't wish for something that would never happen. Can't wish that because if I was to wish something like that, then that right there might brew something else up in me. People always, when somebody passed and they be like, oh, I wish I would have said this, or I wish I would have did that, I wish I would have never did this, I wish I would have never did that. Wishing is too late, sugar. Wishing is too late. And now you got yourself over here crying every year when their birthday come around, or Father's Day, Mother's Day come around, they death day come around, and you find yourself crying every single year because you wished. Ain't no we could do about it. It's dead and it's dead and over with, literally. Done and over with, literally. Literally. Like we can't keep causing ourselves stress and pain over something that we don't want to let go. You have to sometimes know when to let go and let God. Let go and let God, because that's the only way you're going to pull yourself up out of it. Let go. It's okay to let go. It's okay. It's okay to let go. You got to let go sometimes, because we can't do nothing by ourselves. If you continue to try to do things by yourself, you just continue to dig yourself deep and deep and hurt. You got to learn how to let go and allow God to step in and help heal you of your pain. And that's what God doing. God is healing me of my pain, and I know He is. Because if He wasn't, I wouldn't be talking the way that I'm talking today. So I know God is healing me of my pain because God got better for me. He got better for me. Only in due time, though. Only in due time, I will see what it is that He have. And if YouTube's still around, if y'all still around, y'all will see it too when that day will come. Stop bearing other people's crosses. You right. You right. Yeah. That kind of, I know what you're saying, but it kind of don't resonate in my spirit a little bit. It didn't hit where it needed to hit. I needed to hit me though. It didn't hit me how it said another way. Like when you say bearing people crosses, that means you carrying people loads, right? But it didn't hit me, I guess, because that's probably ain't me. I was carrying the weight of my own load that was keeping me down. That's what I was carrying. But I can't keep carrying that past. I can't keep carrying that past. I don't want to keep carrying that past because the past is the past, and it's called the past for a reason. It's meant to be left there, you know. Some past things you can go back and pick back up, but only for the good of you, not for the worst of you, not for the bad of you, only for the good of you. Go back to the past things only for the good of you, to help you grow, to help you build, advance, excel, exceed in life. But when you going and digging up the past for the worst of you, that ain't good. Yeah, bearing the weight of how someone has treated you. That's right. Now that right there settled in my spirit right there. That's right there. But that's true. I can't carry that weight because ain't nothing I can do about that. You know. But I thank God for this wisdom. Cause I could be a silly something. You know what I'm saying? Like I could have been somebody else, and I'm glad that I'm not nobody other than who I am. I'm glad. I could be a mean person. I could be a person that just don't care, rude, nasty, just dysfunctional, just a addict. Like I could be a whole lot of things, but I'm not. But I'm not. So I thank God for who I am. Yep. That's right. You right. There you go. Now that right there hit too, girl. That right there hit, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because what people do to you is not your karma. That's theirs. What you do to others is your karma. So that right there, that's settled. Thank you for that. That's settled in me. People, you can't control how people treat you, what they do to you, how they act towards you. You can't control that. It happens every day, and it just happens because you're not control of that person. That person have to be in control of themselves. But how you react to that, that's what creates your karma. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but I love the Lord because I know He take care of me. I know He real. Ain't nothing else in this world give me the feeling that I feel when I talk about Him and what I be feeling. He be telling me to do. Let me tell y'all. So I know it's gonna sound crazy, right? In my mind, it's be trying to make me think other than what I know, right? Because that's how the enemy works sometimes. So yesterday, I was laying up here and I was just praying and talking to the Lord and stuff, laying right here in my bed, and I was asking God, for certain things to do for me and stuff, and I was just laying here in the bed, and God told me get up and go outside. I feel like I'm gonna tell you why I know God told me to do this. So in my spirit, I felt God told me to get up and go outside, and I was being obedient because I could have laid right here, but I didn't. But I felt like that was God telling me to do it. But I thought He was telling me to do it for the reason that I was praying for, right? So I got up. I didn't put no jacket on. I didn't put no pants on, no socks on. I was out there in my little dress, and the sleeves was just like this, and the little short little dress wasn't no longer than that robe I had on yesterday. I went outside just like that, standing on my porch. And I was just out there, just, saying Jesus, Jesus, Jesus in my head because I really didn't know why God sent me to go outside. So I thought He sent me outside because of what I was praying for, right? So I was standing outside, and when I was standing outside, my neighbor across the street, he was over there across the street talking to somebody that came to visit him. He was already out there talking to him. Now, mind you, I had never even met my neighbor before, never even had a conversation with him. I don't even think I even said hey to him before. So mind you, okay, so my neighbor was out there talking with somebody that was visiting him. They was just out there having a conversation while I was up there standing on the porch, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm standing up here, I ain't got no bra on, I ain't got no jacket on, no sleeves on. I'm over here about half dressed standing out this door, but it was snow outside on the ground. But I was standing out that door, and I was not cold. I was just standing out there. And that was weird to me, cause I'm like, dang, it's snow out here, and I know it's cold, but I ain't even cold. So I was standing out there for a good little minute, just looking at them, and they probably wondering like, why the hell this girl standing outside and she ain't got no sleeves on, and just over here looking at us. But I was just out there, just in my head, I was constantly saying, Jesus, 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 thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, 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 just calling Jesus, right? I know that when you pray and ask God for certain things and you just call on Jesus, you got to call on Jesus and things start moving, right? So that's why I was out there doing that, right? So the guy, after a few minutes, the guy had done drove off, and my neighbor, he went on up to his house to go in the house. He ain't had no sleeves on neither. He had on some pants and some. I don't think he had no socks on, but he had a red thing wrapped around his neck. I don't know if it was a sweater or something he had wrapped around his neck, but he ain't had no sleeves on neither. But this why God told me to go outside, y'all. When the man went up to the door to go in the house, his door was open. But he got a screen door, so he had the screen door closed and his door open. When he went up to the door, he couldn't even get in the house. Some kind of way, his screen door had unlocked him out the house. So I was standing there just watching him, trying to get in the house. I knew he was locked out. And I was standing there trying to watch him get in the house. Wasn't nobody outside. Nobody. Wasn't nobody outside. Mind you, it was cold. It's cold, snow on the ground. Ain't nobody outside. Wasn't nobody out there but me. Because God told me to get up and go outside. And I went outside and I was just standing on my porch. So I'm the only somebody outside besides them. And he couldn't get in his house. So I watched him try to get in the house. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see if he can yank the door open. I'm gonna see if he ever get up in there. After a few minutes he couldn't get in there. So I was like, you need a phone? He was like, it sounded like he said, I ain't got no numbers or something like that. Or I do, but I don't know the number. So he was like, you got a screwdriver? I was like, yeah. He said, give me a hammer too, just in case I gotta break the door. So I went in the house and I found him a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, and I gave him a hammer. So he went over there trying to open the door, with the hammer and stuff like that. He still couldn't get it open. Long story short, he ended up breaking the glass to get in the house. But God told me to get up and go outside, and I was obedient. And He told me to go outside because somebody out there needed me. My neighbor locked himself out the door, and I was happened to be out there to lend him a helping hand so he can get in his house. Ain't God good? I'm telling you, we got to learn how to listen to God sometimes. When you feel stuff in your spirit and you feel like it's just yourself be talking to you, that don't be yourself talking to you. That be God speaking to you. God speak to when people say, see, people. That's what I don't like. That's what I don't be like about, when people be talking and telling you stuff, they don't understand. They don't. No matter how hard they don't. Hold on, I'm gonna go back. But they don't explain to you. They don't break it down to you how you need to know it. You know what I'm saying? To make you understand it. But when God be talking to you and stuff like that, sometimes it don't be, oh, I just heard God, oh, I heard his voice. No, sometimes it be your conscience. It be your conscience that be speaking to you. He be speaking to you through spirit in your spirit self. In your Not to your flesh, not where you hear a sound and all of that right there. Sometimes it seems like that, you know, but sometimes when God speak to you, you'll think that it be you talking to yourself. But then you have to tell yourself sometimes, I would have never even thought of that. So I know that there wasn't nobody but God talking to me. That's how I be knowing sometimes that it be him that be done told me to do certain things, because sometimes I wouldn't have never thought this myself. Or I could be thinking of something and needing an answer to something, and then the answer come to me, and I know for a fact when I get the answer, I wouldn't have never thought of it. You know what I'm saying? So I be knowing that, but that don't be nobody but God. God speak to us through spirit. He speak to us. It be feeling like you be talking to yourself. That's how he speak to you sometimes. No matter how hard it gets, keep going. We will cry first and maybe I feel lost, but I ask that you pray and keep going. Don't give up. Don't go backwards, all because it's comfortable. We have to push. That's right. You do. You do have to push. Yes, God is good all the time, all the time, all the time. And I know this. But like I was saying, Miss Levette, sometimes in life, when you take a step back, it's better for you to take that step back yourself instead of letting life knock you down. You take that step back, that way you can keep moving forward. Sometimes you got to take a step back. People be like, no, just keep going. You got to keep going forward. You got to keep pressing. You got to keep pressing. Yeah. But in order to keep pressing, sometimes it get too strong on you. You got to step back for a minute. You got to step back for a minute to be able to look at the bigger picture. When you take a step back, it's like you getting some of that pressure up off you so you can see what's ahead, so you could be, it's like you building your strength up to keep moving forward, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes you gotta take a little step back. I'd rather take a step back instead of letting life knock me down, knock me back. I'd rather do it myself. If I step back, I'm in control of it. But when I don't step back on my own, I'm allowing life to do that. So sometimes you gotta take a step back yourself. That's just like when you know that your bills getting too heavy for yourself, right? It's getting a bit much. It seems like you're struggling a little too hard. You just can't make it up out your struggle. Sometimes you got to start eliminating some of those things that you don't need. Sometimes when you pay that bill, sometimes you just got to let them know, hey, cut this off. Cut this off. They be like, oh, we could give you this, we could do that. Hey, well, just cut it off. You know that that's what you need to do for right now. You got to cut that thing off for right now until you can go back to that. And I done had to do that before. Sitting here just thinking about that. I done had to do that before. That's how I know right now to this day that I don't need cable, because I done had to do that before. See, there was a time that I had cable and Wi-Fi, but then life just started getting a little rough for me, and before I let life knock me down, I'd rather take a step back myself. So I told him, hey, cut this off, cut that cable. I don't need that no more. Now, are you sure we got this bundle here? We got that bundle. You can have this. You can have that. No, I don't want that, because I know if I eliminate that bill, that's that many more dollars in my pocket. Sometimes you don't need certain things. We just be wanting them. But sometimes you got to take that step back in order to move forward. If you continue to try to carry the weight, hey, if you continue to try to carry the weight, you ain't going nowhere. It's constantly pushing you down, pushing you down, pushing you down, because the load is too heavy. The load is too heavy. You got to get some of that stuff up off of you so you can start feeling a little lighter to be able to move forward. Okay? To be able to move forward. And I'm talking to myself because I'm saying something right now. I'm over here saying a whole lot of something. I'm saying something right now. But sometimes you got to get some of that stuff up off of you. When that load start feeling too heavy, you feel like that you can't go no further. You just want to give up. You ain't got to give up. You ain't got to give up. Just take a step back. Take a step back. Get some of the stuff up off of you that you can. Just let it go. Let it go. For the time being, just let it go. And when you let it go, you're going to start feeling a lot lighter. And when you start feeling a lot lighter, you start feeling a lot better. You start you start coming back to yourself. When you start coming back to yourself, you start feeling your strength again. See, when that load was heavy on you, you ain't have the strength that you had when the load was light. So now you getting your strength back, and now you can keep on pressing forward. Keep pressing forward, pressing forward, pressing forward. Then, as you get more and more comfortable going forward, you could pick it back up when you need to. But don't do it too early. And dang sure don't do it for nobody else. Do it for yourself. Because somebody else, they'll have you, honey, down, out, struggling, everything. Because they ain't the one that got to deal with that. They ain't got to deal with that. You the one got to deal with that. You the one got to pay them bills. You the one got to carry your own weight. So don't make your load too heavy for yourself. Even when you ain't got especially when you ain't got to. Don't make that load too heavy for yourself. That's crazy. Because I'm telling you, in any way that I have to, if I got anything that I can eliminate and get up off of me, honey, when that load get too heavy and I start feeling weak, cut this off. Cut that off. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Certain people as well. That's right. I'm telling you. And that's right. I'm telling you that when I told you that thing speak volumes, it ain't just materialistic things, Gigi. I'm telling you exactly what I'm saying goes for people too. You have certain people in your life where they make your load feel heavy by them being in your life. You get uncomfortable, you get stressed out. But then once you wean them away from you, get them out your life start feeling a little less heavy. You start feeling a little less stressed. And when you remove a person out your life and you start feeling less stressed, you are that right there should be a tick a time a light come on let you know this person is not meant to be in my life. But guess what? Being the people that we are, sometimes we allow them back in because we don't know. We start feeling sorry or we start feeling lonely or little stuff like that because we love them and all of that right there, and then they come back and then you start getting that same old feeling again. But then next thing you know, you let them go, and you start feeling light again. When you feel light without somebody, they is not meant to be in your life. You got to let them go. And that be the hardest thing for us to do, is to let go, because we worry about what other people got to think or how they got to feel. Or sometimes we have sympathy for them. We feel like we need to help carry them. When you can't carry yourself, how you gonna carry them? How you gonna carry them when you can't carry yourself? Mm-mm. You got to know when to let go. You got to know when to let go. Once again, y'all, if you coming in, you hear my husband snoring, child, he got to go to work in the morning, y'all. Let him snow, child, okay? But, yeah, you got to let him go. You got to. But I think I feel better now because I kind of just, wanted to, um, at first I just wanted to talk about, just what my conversation was about, having to step back in life. That's basically what I was talking about. But it started because I was talking about, when it comes to buying groceries and stuff like that. Sometimes you got to take a step down. You may not go in the grocery store and be able to go in the grocery store and buy the stuff that you used to be able to buy, stuff like that. And I know that I can. I thank God for that. I thank God for the funds to be able to do that. I'm not bragging or nothing like that. But what I'm saying is, um, I know that if I want to have more, I can't be out here giving them more. You see what I'm saying? I got to be able to. I gotta. I gotta take a step back and be frugal, be a budgeter. That way, I can come up. I can come up because it ain't all about trying to have this and trying to have that and look like this and look like that to everybody else, trying to like you eating the best of everything, because it don't work like that. You got to do what you can do for you so you can survive. You can survive so you can stay on top, so you don't get back to that point where you living paycheck to paycheck, so you don't get back to that point where you can't pay your bills, so you don't get back to that point. Don't nobody want to have to go back to that. That's not comfortable living where you have to worry about bills and stuff. How you gonna eat and feed yourself? How you gonna put gas in your car? If anything was to happen to your tires, you can't even get the oil change or tires or used tire. Don't nobody want to have to go through that. I'd rather have a little piece of something than not have nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? So some things you got to do to get to that point. You have to sit down somewhere. You got to take a step back. Take a step back before life knock you down. Because when life knocks you down, it be hard to get up. It be hard to get up. Because when it knocks you down, it knocks you to nothing. And I don't want to be knocked down to nothing. So before I get knocked down to nothing, I will I will eliminate some things and budget. But I'm always a budget. But sometimes I don't be though. I don't be. But sometimes, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. You just got to do what you got to do for you and let God handle the rest. Because, trust me, God is always there taking care of you, no matter what the struggle is. He there taking care of you, trust me. Because if you look at your situation, there's always somebody out there worse than you. So you got to thank God for where you at. That's why I say you got to be thankful for them little things. Because how can you not appreciate and see your blessings for where you at right now? And you expecting God to bless you to have something bigger. You can't receive those bigger blessings if you can't accept the little ones that you have. Because God already know that you ain't even gonna see him in the big ones. You don't even see him in the little ones. So you definitely ain't gonna see him in them big ones. I see God in my little blessings. I see God in this. And I'm say it again. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that I have my eyes to see. I see it. But yeah, y'all. I ain't sleepy or nothing. I can sit here and talk all night, child, especially when I'm talking about the Lord. I told y'all, when I'm talking about God, baby, I can talk now. But um I ain't gonna hold y'all too long though. Cause I'm finna go back to looking at YouTube and stuff. Doing what I was doing till I get sleepy, child. And then I guess I'll go on to sleep or whatever. Honey, but I'm definitely ain't sleepy. I done took a nap today. I might just look like this though. I ain't got my eyelashes on either. But I'm definitely not sleepy. But I just wanted to come and just chat with y'all on that. And I was really like I said, I was really just coming on because I thought I wanted my husband, to kind of like, I wanted to get some feedback from y'all. That's what I wanted at first. I wanted to get some feedback from y'all to see, if y'all kind of like thought the way that I was thinking about, when you have to take a step back sometimes. That's right. At one point. That's right. I gotta nudge him a little bit because baby, he be cranking it up. But that's right though. I'm telling you, when you just look at where you come from to where you at today, you just gotta say thank you, Lord, because that took growth. I'm telling you, it takes growth. And it takes wanting to grow too. It takes wanting to grow. And with that growth, you gain wisdom. Because you learn what not to do and what caused you to get there, and you ain't trying to go back there because you know how it felt when you was there, you know. So yeah. Yeah. All right, y'all. I was just sitting over here just thinking of something else because I was finna start another topic, but I don't feel God talking to me on what I'm finna talk about, because I'm gonna need His little help on that right there, on that topic that I was finna talk about. So I don't really feel Him speaking to me on that. So I'm gonna leave it alone because it may not be the thing to talk about, being that I'm giving Him the glory for what He's doing, because the enemy try to step in and start making you say other things out your mouth, you know, because that's the way he get his praise for things too. And I ain't finna give him no praise for nothing. I'm gonna leave it where I'm at. I done gave God the glory, and I hope somebody got something out of what I was saying. And thank y'all for listening. But good night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good one.